Hey, good morning, afternoon, actually. It is Monday, September 30th, end of the month. There we are. What can I say? I am reading a little bit late today. The work of yesterday was the work of yesterday. Kind of continued to today, but that's the way it goes. And I mentioned in yesterday's reading that I really felt like what we were working with was certainly an overall theme. And I continue to feel that way. And for what we're working with the week, and I think it's in general, to be honest with you. At any rate, I have the Gilded Tarot back again. Maybe I'll work with the Shadowscapes tomorrow, but we'll see. But I'm going to work with these. And I actually have the Flower Therapy and the Butterfly deck from Doreen Virtue I would like to work with as well. And of course, I pulled my Kuan Yin card today, and two cards came up, one for me and one for my daughter. Dance of the Butterfly Queen. So those changes that we were discussing that came up yesterday in the Book of Changes, and the number 5, which was the numerology on the overall day. And actually, the numerology on today is a number 6. I think 2 plus 1 is 3 plus 9 is 12. Plus the 9 is 21. Plus 3 is 24. 2 and 4 is 6. So yeah, the numerology is 6. So the kind of changes that we're starting to see, but the 6 can be a have and have not, but it's also it's an opportunity to let the universe support you. And that's kind of the overall theme, is to really lean. I got the words lean in, lean in, lean in was very strong. Those 2 words for me today in my meditation, even before I sat down. And lean in, let the universe support you. You've done, and that was evident in the cards yesterday. You've done good work. You've done good work. Let the universe come in and show you how much it appreciates you. All right. So Dance of the Butterfly Queen, changes. Keep rolling with the changes. Transform the way you look at things. All right. I'm going to just aim the camera down so you see more of what I'm doing here. Again, I always work with the cards in an upright position, but sometimes they do come out reversed, and I will read them in the reverse. As well as, if the energy of the upright is important as well. We'll talk about that. So what does the tarot have to say about the energies that we have working with? I call in all powers of the divine white light, the clearest, purest, most beautiful white light, in order to call in the energies. And how do we work with the energies of this particular beautiful day? Of this particular beautiful day. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? And I've got 2 cards that are coming kind of right out, and we have the Ace of Swords, okay, and the 4 of Pentacles. That's an interesting combo to come out. Some ideas about what we're holding on to. I continue calling some cards. Okay, and this bunch is just coming out, so those just flipped right over. So we'll let those come out, and I think that's what we'll call it today. So we'll keep our Kuan Yin card, Dance of the Butterfly Queen. And the bottom of the deck is the 9 of Swords. Again, that card of worry that's been sort of lurking around. The Devil. But we have the Queen of Pentacles, showing up as royalty. Right here on this plane, the Hermit. We've got a lot of interesting cards, in the Magician. Those are in the bottom of the deck. So what are we working with here today? I love how this Queen of Wands has been coming up a ton. This card came up in my sort of, ruminations. The 6 of Cups card came up today. All right, what have we got here? So Ace of Swords and 4 of Pentacles. These guys came out together. These kind of also came out together as well. This 8 of Wands energy is still around as well. Not just in this deck, but in the deck I used yesterday. We got the Ace of Pentacles and underneath. All right, so let's look at what we're dealing with. The Ace of Swords energy is an energy of, hi, Waharobi. Thanks for joining me. I'm happy to do a personal reading for you at some point, and we can talk about that. This is a general reading for all zodiac signs. Listen up. Maybe there's a message for you, and at the end, I'm happy to pull a card for you. Okay. So, Ace of Swords is an energy of ideas coming in. This sword is something that's pointing at something specifically that we're supposed to be looking at. What are we holding on to? All right, what are we holding on to? The Ace of Pentacles card is something that we're holding on to in the physical. We are supposed to be looking at something really closely. There is some energy around us that is pointing us to look at something in particular that we're holding on to for dear life that actually just needs to go. This Eight of Wands is a card of a lot of movement. And, I'm reading in this card something differently than I've ever read before, which is, although things are very idyllic and calm here in the bottom, with these sheep, we're actually taking off in a way, like we're kind of going above the herd. And the messages that we're receiving are ones that allow us to move beyond the herd and move forward in leadership. Leadership was something that came up in my quiet sort of meditations later on in the day on yesterday's reading. And it was about being called to step up and and have a starring role in our own lives. But can we do so in a fashion that, we're the queen? We're willing to step into that role of leadership, that we can stoke our own passion, not only stoke our own passions, but we can actually direct our passions in a very queenly, royal fashion. I mean, this guy's dressed, and he may be holding on to all those coins, but this guy, he's actually dressed like royalty as well, right? Look how rich he looks. And, he looks really well. I mean, he's holding on to everything for dear life. Yeah, that's for sure. He's so much so that he's like walking around with all of his treasures. But, but he's still like, dressed to show up. Right? Even if he is holding all that stuff, like, we can't really hold on to everything. We can't bring everything with us. And, and that may mean why you're rising above the herd here and you're moving on. These ideas, this divinity, this is coming in to show you that you are rising above. And it's going to get, the ideas are coming in about what we do need to let go in order to rise above. We may be looking to the past. So again, this is that notion of what we're carrying so much of in order to rise above. You can't, be weighed down with all this coin. You have to actually let some things from the past go. The Six of Cups is a card of, examining the past about what actually does need to move forward with us. So at the end of the day, you have one big giant coin that you're bringing forward, Ace of Pentacles, rather than, trying to carry all those bags. What is of value from the past that allows you to move forward in the future, solidly forward, one direction. She's directed. She's focused. She's not fooling around. But this may cause some worry, right? This is going to cause some worry, but worry energy is only a meditation on what's wrong. There's that Nine of Swords energy. Underneath the Nine of Swords is the devil. Again, the devil is something about the things that are holding us back, and that's usually ourselves. It's our habits and it's our addictions. And addiction is, I've discussed this in the spring more often, but I'll bring it up today. And he's even looking down. He's looking down at fire where she's looking out and her fire is moving upwards. But, the addiction component, addiction doesn't necessarily, when we look at that word, we define it in a pretty limited fashion to like drugs and alcohol and food addictions. But you can also be addicted just as easily to people, situations, ways of communicating. You may an addiction just means a habit. It means a habit that it keeps you stuck and stagnated. How can you look at things a little bit differently and change that up and, move forward? And again, in these like ways of royalty that are of service, not only to yourself, showing up in great beauty, but you're showing up, you're in service. Royalty is in service to the masses, to yourself, as you're conducting yourself well, and therefore you're serving the masses very well. Again, I have to look within. That this kind of is that Hermit card is reflective of the Ace of Swords. We have to look. What's that one? Find a single focus, and then start to manifest. There's the Magician card that was at the bottom of the deck. So at any rate, so we've got, those are some really interesting cards. The message, the overall message is, we are in an opportunity of transformation, using our thoughts, changing our thoughts about what it is that we do. How can we fly and move over the herd to move forward, which may mean that we're going to end up leaving some people or some situations behind or treating them differently in order to move forward with one focus, one desire. And that was the overall theme of yesterday's reading. Hi, Fiona. It would be great if you had a question. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer for you. And then you can work with it yourself. Again, change your perspective. So at any rate, I'm going to choose one card. And if you don't believe in this stuff, Fiona, why are you on the channel? You should probably just pop off. But I am glad that you came in. Maybe there is a message for you. All right, so let's pick one card from the Flower Therapy Oracle card deck. These are from Doreen Virtue, and she no longer works with works her spirituality in this fashion, but she made some very beautiful cards and some messages that were a great help that have been great help to a lot of people. And I do love the work that she did in the past and continue to use it as a touchstone in my own work. All right, so let's see what the Flower Oracle cards have to say about what the energies are today. We've got this one right on the top. Cleanse your energy. When you release negativity, the answer is your question shines through. Hi, Charlotte. You popped on right when when I was talking about this. When you release negativity and all those purple flowers, the amethyst crystal is a really good one to work with when you're wanting to cleanse your energy and to learn and understand and hear more about your own stuff. And I encourage you to work with amethysts, particularly when you are trying to cleanse and detox. This was a conversation I had with my daughter earlier. I was really drawn to amethyst crystal yesterday. I hadn't worked with it in a couple of weeks, but I actively wanted to work with it yesterday. And here it is, that amethyst, that purple rich color coming up. These are a set of mala beads a friend of mine had given me a long time ago. I do sit with those quite a bit. So cleanse your energy, detox. Right? There's that detox. We can't take everything with us. Only some things can go with us, but most of it can't. In order to be single focused, to keep moving towards your dreams, you've got to let stuff go. You can't carry it all with you. And like I said, don't worry about it. It'll take care of itself. And that's, an addiction can be that you think that you've got to do everything. You got to be involved in everything in order for things to work well. Guess what? They don't. And and when you just hold on so tightly, you don't allow things to have their own breathing room. In order for those things around you to fly, like what are you holding on to that actually keeps the others, whatever that may be, the situation, the pets, the people, keeps those people from actually fulfilling their desires and their dreams. Did you ever think about it that way? Like if we hold on too tightly to the people around us or the situations, we don't allow the situation to change. Parental care is the butterfly card that came up for us today. All right, so parental care. That's an interesting card. The butterfly cards are a deck of life changes, and they're a pretty interesting vibe. I'm going to actually read from the book on this one. Again, we have those purple flowers, which I do love because we're also cultivating not only the purple intuition, but we're combining it with the yellow of the sacral chakra, which is that fire, that will, that drive. So I like that combination. That's really interesting. So we're actually using fire to cleanse. Fire, light, like what's lighting your path? Let's read from the book. These are really short. And parental care means to, it might also mean to be cultivating the inner child. Think about that one. Like, check in with your inner child to see what it needs. That small part of yourself that maybe has been forgotten. And treating that inner child as a loving parent. Those are just some thoughts that have come to me before I even read. And this card indicates that the parent-child roles have reversed and you are now involved in taking care of your folks. Elder care is a process of attending to your elderly or medically challenged loved ones, which can mean a big lifestyle change for you. So we've got to let some stuff go in order to care for our own inner child. That's what I'm getting from this, despite the, you can't take everything face value, but that's what's coming up. However, how do you balance your own health and comfort? It's important to find balance right now. Again, balancing the head and the heart. And our drive in order to care for ourselves well, in order to achieve the things. Because if we're not in good health, we can't actually move forward and achieve those dreams. We just are always stuck in worry energy and we're running around and we're frantic. You drew this card because your aging parents are weighing on you and you are guided to ask for help and support from healthcare professionals and other relatives. It seems that you might have been assuming that no one else would lend a hand. I told you, no one else would lend a hand. We assume that no one else is going to pitch in and do the work. But regardless, parental care, again, this was a message that I started channeling before we even picked any cards, was about the universe, letting the universe do the heavy lifting. Like, open your arms to the universe. The numerology on today is the number 6. Open our arms to the universe so we can draw in the support that we need in order to move forward. We don't need to be doing it all by ourselves. That's leaning in. Those words can come back again. Leaning into the universe to, or whatever is your higher power. Whatever is your higher power. Whatever is that means for you, whatever is bigger than you, lean into that right now because you are being helped like a parent. And that might have connotations for some who feel negatively towards their parents or who haven't had the best upbringing. But think about the most loving situation that you can possibly imagine. And that's the kind of parental care. So it seems you may have been assuming that no one else would lend a hand, yet garnering appropriate assistance is essential to everyone's well-being. What are the resources around you that do support your well-being? Loving someone does not require you to be a superhero or to wreck yourself to save him or her. We cannot burn ourselves out. We cannot burn ourselves out in order to get to the places where we want to go in our sovereignty. Love takes everyone's highest good into account, including your own. Additional meanings: caring for a friend or relative, deciding on living arrangements for aging parents, healing relationships with parents. So those are just some of the messages. But think about that loving situation. What is the most nurturing environment you can put yourself in right now? What do you have? And maybe that means that you do have to let stuff go. You cannot take all of the baggage. Heal your past. Heal your relationship with your past. Understand that you are rare and beautiful. You are an Ace of Pentacles. Okay. Well, Robbie, are you still on? If you are, Charlotte, are you still on? If you are, I'm happy to pull a card for you. Just let me know. Just type in the messages. And anyone else who's on, I'm happy to pull a message and a card for you as well. You just have to let me know if you're here. So I see there's 2 people who are on right now. And if you don't have a message, I'll just pull a card from, I think we'll do the flower therapy. We'll do the flowers. We'll pull the flower cards for whoever is watching. There are 2 people who are on right now who maybe have questions that they're not comfortable asking. And I got 2 cards. 2 for 2, and you got some beautiful cards. Stand by your commitment. You're strong enough to keep the promise that you've made. Don't back out now. Your angels believe in you. That's a star lily. I love those. Wise soul is the other card that came out. Your soul carries ancient wisdom. Please embrace it as you have the knowledge to help those around you. That's the card. That's the azalea. Okay, and that was the other card for the two people who are on. Those are cards that I pulled for both of you. I hope that resonates with you or for anyone else who decides to watch. So those are the messages. That's the live poll. As I move through the day, I kind of, and as I wrote this in the description, I often will just I'll let these energies kind of sit with me and revisit the cards a little later. I take a little journal with me and I kind of write a few things down to see what comes up, what feels like it resonates, or a little, I kind of see how the cards like play out around me and the situations that come up. I've already seen a bunch. So, even before I pulled these cards, I'm really not surprised that these messages came through. There were things that were coming up in my meditation. But I will write a few more, and those I post on Instagram, and I think I left the link for my Instagram below in the description, so you can check back later because I'll have some different and additional things to say. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you guys have a great day.